What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Action Jackson, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about the construction that the Dallas Cowboys did with the salary cap in terms of contracts, and also the compensation picks, the more draft picks that they have received due to losing free agents in the offseason. So I'd appreciate if you guys would like the video, subscribe if you're new, comment your thoughts on the video, and share my video with anyone who you think might enjoy my content. Getting into it, the Dallas Cowboys, shout out to Michael Gelkin for the source. He announced that the Cowboys declared about $30 million in their 2023 cap following restructures to Dak Prescott and Zach Martin. And I also heard they also restructured Michael Gallup's contract. I don't really know how to feel about the Michael Gallup restructuring of the contract, honestly, because that's possibly for me somebody that I don't mind moving on from, especially if you do certain acquisitions in the offseason, like signing an OBJ, trading for D-Hop, spending a top a day one or day two pick on a receiver. I don't mind getting rid of Gallup, especially if he can't come back right and he's not ready to go. That's in my opinion. But something that I wanted to touch on about the restructures of the contract, and for me, they also, before I get into what I really want to dive in on, talked about restructuring Tyron Smith's contract. And what I got to say about that for sure is that if you want to bring in Tyron Smith, you got to make sure what you're doing with Tyler Smith. Is Tyler Smith going to stay and be your future left tackle, for the next 10, 15 years, or is he going to be your left guard for the next 10, 15 years? That's what the Dallas Cowboys need to look at and have themselves answer before we hop into the season. Now I understand as to why they want to bring him back, because offensive line is a premium, and you just don't want to let great or all pro offensive linemen hit the streets. But I understand with a lot of people who don't want to keep Tyron Smith because he's more of a liability than he is an asset. If you just look at the games after 2019, 2020, he only played 2 games. 21, he only played 11, and then in 22, he only played 4 games. So I understand what a lot of people seeing that they don't want to keep Tyron Smith, and I don't blame them at all. But I just want to keep him just for a swing offensive tackle. But I'm only down for bringing him back. Same thing. If you want to come back on the team and you're so solid, but you're no longer with the player that you used to be, either we can trade you, get draft compensation, we can let you go, or we can just restructure the contract and get Tyron Smith back here on a cheaper deal. It's kind of like what D-Law had did. We do that with Tyron. We bring him in, we restructure that deal, we rip up that one that we gave him years ago, and we just bring him back on a cheap deal and have him be our swing tackle. He can be either our starting left tackle, or for me, honestly, he'll just be your right tackle until Terrence Steele comes in, and have Tyler be your left tackle, and then whoever your guard is, let that be your guard. Or if you want to keep Tyler Smith at left guard, if you feel like he has more potential there, that's fine. But you got to make sure that Matt Waletzko, who you use that Amari Cooper trade pick for, or Matt Ball, or Josh Ball, my bad, if they're ready to go, then have them start left tackle. Tyler Smith be your guard for sure, no matter what happens for the next 10 to 15 years. Tyron Smith stays at right tackle, and then your Hall of Famer that's starting is Zach Martin. But that's for what I gotta say about the offensive line and then the possible restructure for a Tyron Smith. But when you create this amount of cap space that they do with the Dallas Cowboys, you have to intend to do something with it. I don't want you to have $30 million freed up, and if you're just going to re-sign your own and not even try to get ahead, like if you just created this cap space just to sign your own, meaning sign who are going to be your free agents of your own team that you either hand selected out of free agency or you drafted. So if you're just going to re-sign Van Der Esch, Pollard, Wilson, and then just draft, and then you're not trying to make this team a true contender, like signing an OBJ or signing a Bobby Wagner or anybody like that. Like if you just sign your own and you don't even try to get ahead of contracts like a CeeDee Lamb, which you already know is going to be your wide receiver 1, which is something I don't even know why the Dallas Cowboys are trying to mess with and play with. But they're already trying to lowball Trayvon Diggs. They leaked stuff after the Niner game. Then they also aren't going to try and pay CeeDee Lamb. Like if one thing that you already don't know is that you don't want to play this wide receiver by committee stuff. So if you're not trying to go through all that again, sign CeeDee Lamb now because this is the cheapest that you can get for him right now. He's going to want at least more than $20 million because now the going price just for an average starting receiver is $20 million. A wide receiver one, a star like CeeDee Lamb, he's going to want at least $25-30 million. You might as well try to get him for $25 million now because once the new TV contracts kick in again, coming not this year but next year, cap is going to go up in that contract. That if you get ahead and sign now for a Diggs and a CeeDee Lamb, it can look a lot cheaper. And people might say overrated within your own fan base, or people that's not in the Cowboys circle, they might say overrated. But if you're able to sign both Diggs and CeeDee Lamb, freeing up this money, I would love that because now you can lock those guys for another 4+ years, and because you already know what CD and Trayvon is like. Those are somebody that you guys, if you're the Cowboys, you already get ahead and you try to sign. That's one thing. That's one plan I would do with the Dallas Cowboys money. Is if you're going to intend to sign your own by signing them now, because don't wait till next year when they're again 3 straight year of Pro Bowlers and All Pros, and then now you got to pay them $40 million. You got to pay like $25-30 million for a Trayvon, and then you got to pay about 35 million for CD. So it makes sense just to sign them now. Another thing, make a move. Now, I'm saying there's 4 options that I want you to make. Either trade for D-Hop, which has been linked because he has been working out with Dez Bryant, so it makes sense as to why DeAndre Hopkins wants to be a Cowboy. He did say and publicly say that on the podcast with Pat McAfee that he is willing to work with his final years of his contract and making them less money avoidable years. He's saying that he is willing to make money work if he just wants to play for a contender. And he already has been playing in 2 states that don't take your money from you. Well, I mean, at least one, because Arizona takes your money, but Texas don't. But he already played for the Houston Texans. I'm pretty sure he won't mind coming back down to Texas, and he don't have to get all his money taxed off on his contract. So I can see DeAndre Hopkins wanting to be a Cowboy for many different reasons, but especially off the field stuff like financial reasons and everything like that. And plus, we are a contender, especially seeing that the NFC is wide open, especially with Green Bay wanting to get rid of Aaron Rodgers. The Eagles are naturally going to decrease in talent because they're going to have to pay Hurts mega money, which he deserves. They're already saying that they're not going to be able to sign Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Robert Quinn, all their big guys that made plays for him, James Bradbury. And Darius Slay has already been looking. They have granted him the permission to look for trades. So the Eagles are already looking like they're going to have to, they're going back to rookies and on rookie deals because they're not going to have enough cap space to keep everybody around. So if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you make a move because now this is the opportune time for you to step in. The Niners, you don't know what's going on with the Niners. Packers are already going to decrease. The Saints are going to get better because they have Derek Carr, but they're not going to be a top contending team. People in your own division like Washington and New York, they're automatically going to get better, but I don't know how better they're going to get from last year. Then you look at Detroit. Detroit is definitely on the rise. They're coming. Then you look at Minnesota. They're going to be a solid team, but their star pass rushers, Darius Smith's already wanting out. So you got to ask questions if you're Dallas. If you truly want to win, this is the opportune time. So trade for a guy like D-Hop, who has been linked to us. Jalen Ramsey's been linked to us ever since 2016 because he publicly said on the Pivot podcast months ago, that he wanted to be a Dallas Cowboy. Because, he already said that publicly, and we said that in the front office that, hey, if you're there at 4, we're going to draft you. We didn't. So it is what it is. Now you have the second chance, another opportune time. You have a second chance to go get a Jalen Ramsey. If you got to give up a first-round pick, if you got to give up day 1 and day 2 pick to get DeAndre Hopkins and Jalen Ramsey, I would do it in a heartbeat. I wouldn't even think twice about it. That's just me personally. Other people will feel different, but I want difference makers in this office. That's what always leads teams to Super Bowls. You look at the Super Bowl that just passed in February, playmakers all over the field, offense and defense. Years prior, there's always been different. They have multiple difference makers, multiple playmakers, and that's what Dallas doesn't have right now. We have it already in 4 players. CD, Dak, Trayvon, and Micah. So those are your 4 difference makers. You add another difference maker. Like if you trade for a D-Hop, then you sign a Marcus Peters, or you sign an OBJ, but you trade for a Jalen Ramsey, I'm fine with that as well. Another move I want the Dallas Cowboys to make as well is out there and sign Bobby Wagner. He's been linked to the Dallas Cowboys. Today, I was posted on the screen, but market is heating up for a Bobby Wagner. He's already getting looks from the Chargers, Cowboys, and the Seahawks again. So if you're Dallas Cowboys, I already had a video discussing about this, but you get on that Bobby Wagner train. He wants to play for a contender. I don't know how he really feels about Seattle. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't mind going back, but I'm pretty sure he'll be more comfortable signing with the Dallas Cowboys or whoever of a true contender gives some interest. Maybe like KC, but KC already got nice linebackers. Maybe Cincinnati or possibly the Bills, since the Bills are not going to be able to sign Tremaine Edmonds. So basically, if you're going to, recap, if you're just going to free up space, either if you are going to sign your own, sign your players like CD, Diggs now because it's the cheapest that you can get them at. And 2, go use that money to actually improve this roster and make us true contenders in the NFC. Now, the last piece of information I wanted to touch on before we head out is that we were awarded 3 more picks than what we already had received. We were already coming in with 6 draft picks. Now, when April comes, we're coming with 9. We got rewarded with 2 5th-round picks, number 169 and 76, and we got a 6th-round selection. And we got those via losing Randy Gregory, Connor Williams, and Cedric Wilson. So now the Cowboys have more darts to throw at the draft. They have more ammo to load up this clip to either use their draft picks to trade for somebody or get more talent that they want to bring in, which I'm totally fine with. Have no problem with that as well. But this also goes hand in hand with free agency and the comp picks, because Cowboys will ultimately lose out on a 3rd-round comp pick by not being able to sign a guy. If they went out and signed a guy of high name, they won't be able to get a 3rd-round compensatory pick. So they also got to look in that also for the Dallas Cowboys, because they are like that. They're funny style like that, where they would rather just lose talent and try to replace them in the draft than try to do that in free agency because they're afraid to lose picks. So that's about it for the video. Hope you guys have a nice day. See you later. Stay safe. Stay blessed. Bye.